occupation, apartheid, and genocide. I will no longer showcase Coca-Cola products on my stream. That means no more Diet Coke. Why boycott Coca-Cola? Because it's implicated in Israeli war crimes. According to research by Who Profits, the central beverage company known as Coca-Cola Israel, which is the exclusive franchisee of the Coca-Cola company in Israel, operates a regional distribution center and cooling houses in the Israeli Atarot settlement industrial zone. Furthermore, its subsidiary, Tabor Winery, produces wines from grapes sourced from vineyards located on occupied land and settlements in the West Bank and Syria and Golan. Why now? Human rights and health activists, among many others, have been campaigning against Coca-Cola and similarly complicit corporations for decades, including grassroots drives targeting the company for its complicity in Israel's gross violations of Palestinian human rights. During Israel's ongoing live stream genocide, Israeli soldiers have often been pictured with Coke cans donated to them by various genocide-enabling groups. This has provoked even more anger against the company, particularly given that Israel is starving 2.3 million Palestinians in occupied and besieged Gaza Strip, severely limiting their access to clean water, and as a result, inducing the mass spread of contagious diseases. Given this context, Palestinian activists in Gaza and many BDS activists in the Arab world and many Muslim-majority countries, and in some European countries as well, have called on the BDS movement to add Coke to its priority targets. Local alternatives are popping up worldwide to substitute Coca-Cola, an unnecessary and replaceable beverage. These alternatives have been gaining market share across the world, including in Palestine, China, Bangladesh, Sweden, Egypt, India, South Africa, Turkey, and Lebanon. Okay, I don't really believe that, but it's fine. You know? I guess Pepsi is fine for the time being. Or Dr. Pepper. I don't know. Based on all this, giving Coke's large contribution, though, through business, as usual, in taxes to Israel's war chest during the genocide, the Palestinian BDS National Committee, BNC, the largest Palestinian coalition leading the global BDS movement, endorses the grassroots organic boycott Coke campaigns to pressure the company to end its complicity in Israel's illegal occupation, apartheid, and genocide. Dr. Pepper is a Coca-Cola subsidiary? Is it? No, it's not. The worst part about this is that these guys are like literally pretty straightforward and very openly exist to make sure that their boycott movements are directed at specific targets. And yet, no matter what happens, okay, no matter what happens, motherfuckers will still go, oh, that means you can't drink whatever the fuck I've decided as well. Like, shut the fuck up. And given the nature of how a lot of these massive corporations exist, where in certain markets, please, can you guys shut the fuck up? Don't post this to me, okay? Excuse me, but you know, calm down. I'll try the Cola Gaza when I'm in England if they have it, but I'm just not going to drink it, okay? Shut the fuck up. But there is a very clear and very deliberate reason why the BDS movement is very directed and hyper targeted, okay, towards a specific brand. It's so that dumbasses like you don't start chirping at people randomly for assuming that someone is doing something wrong. Okay? The problem is you still do it regardless. You're like, well, I've decided that in the Venezuelan market, Coca-Cola actually owns a specific alternative, but only in the Venezuelan market. And if I catch you fucking drinking that soda, I'm going to kill you. Shut up. Just don't fucking, run around with Coca-Cola. That's it. To be fair, it's very confusing. Dr. Pepper is co-owned by Coke in the UK, Japan, and in South Korea. In the US, is owned by Keurig. Canada, owned by PepsiCo. Yeah. Dr. Pepper is fine. Okay? It is not a Coke product. Please. Oh my God. Bro is yelling at 90% of Hosgard right now. I know. It's one of the most annoying aspects of being a fucking leftist and trying to do what's right all the time is that there are a lot of fucking people who are like, nope, I've made up my mind and you will never change it. Fuck you. Shut up. This is the intersection of all of the most annoying aspects of online commentary in general, is that the parasocial nature and the the immediate feedback that like chatters can get, and also the idea that they can like finally enforce something upon their favorite content creators, creates this unique space only in this specific, hyper specific field where you're a political content creator who happens to live stream all the time, where people just go, oh, now my activism is about yelling at random content creators, like random political content creators, because I misunderstood the assignment given to me by the BDS movement. But yeah, it's not the end of the world, you know. It is what it is. Since you always say there's no ethical consumption under capitalism and that consumer activism doesn't work, why go through the pains of not consuming brands that support the IDF when realistically you might not affect them at all? Because pressure campaigns do work, especially when they're directed and targeted and have a very specific goal. That's the difference. It's like the Montgomery bus boycott, dude. Like, very clearly designed to reach a specific outcome. Do you understand? The Bud Light boycott is decentralized and was stupid. They didn't even know what they were angry about. They got mad at one can featuring Dylan Mulvaney's face. Yes, of course, there's a difference between that. Even if it was organized and even if it was very targeted, it still would have been bad, because why the fuck? They were boycotting it for bad reasons. They were boycotting it because they saw one fucking a trans influencer on one singular can. They got one canned. Okay? And also, the BDS movement has achieved some very noticeable victories. Specifically, some of these victories have been with Puma, with Intel refusing to open up a new facility, with Puma refusing to restart or continue their sponsorship of the Israeli Football Association. Sabra Hummus is another one as well. You're no different from right-wing political commentators. Hasan equals Ben Shapiro. What? Please explain to me exactly what you mean by that. That would be amazing. I'll get back to that. But yeah, Ben Sharpino. Why don't you pay attention to the ones who want you? What? I do. Yeah, there's been some pretty significant victories against Elbit Systems as well, the Israeli weapons manufacturer. There are a lot of BDS movement wins since October 7. From Canada to California, the movement to divest from Israel is slowly gaining ground. One, American cities have divested from Israel. Okay, City Council of Portland, Maine became the fourth U.S. city to vote to cut investments from companies doing business with Israel since October 7. While Portland Mayor Mark Dion said he understood Israel's desire for retribution, he added that our role collectively is to grab their shoulder and say, it's enough, it's simply enough, and then pull them away. Other U.S. cities such as Portland, Oregon, Berkeley, California, St. Louis, Missouri have passed BDS measures focused on specific companies. But this marks the first time a U.S. city council fully endorsed a pro-BDS measure against Israel, Middle Eastern Monitor reports. Scotiabank cuts shares in Elbit Systems by half. The asset manager for Scotiabank, a major bank based in Canada and the Americas, has halved his investments in Israeli arms manufacturers following the protests. This chatter immediately stopped after saying, you're no different than right-wing political content creators, by the way, and said, I'm Ben Shapiro. I asked them, what do you mean by this? No answer. Are they Googling talking points, or have they died? Did they perish? Still waiting on the answer. How much you want to bet it's going to devolve into vibes? Elbit-owned company in Massachusetts shut its doors. KMC Systems, an engineering company owned by top Israeli weapon maker Elbit Systems, has quietly left its office in Cambridge, Massachusetts after months of weekly pro-Palestinian protests, according to the Boston Globe. North American Trade Union divests from Israel. The president of the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades announced the group's international pension fund will divest from companies supporting the destruction of Gaza. Canadian, Irish, and American universities have divested from Israel. San Francisco State University, Sacramento State University, Ontario Tech University, Student Union, Concordia University. Irish students forced Trinity College Dublin to divest from Israel. Puma is another one that we just mentioned. So there are some pretty solid dubs. I think like even Elbit Systems was actually denied entry into a weapons conference, which is pretty funny. You have Norway's largest private pension fund divesting from Caterpillar, which is on the boycott, divestments, and sanctions list as well. Caterpillar's on that list for the IDF-9 dozers that they have that are specifically designed for the Israeli occupying forces to use as they bulldoze over Palestinian roads and Palestinian homes. Famously, I believe they were placed on the BDS list after the murder of Rachel Corrie, an American activist from Washington that was ran over by an Israeli war dozer. So yeah, Caterpillar's D9 series bulldozer imported to Israel by Israeli tractors and equipment, part of Zoko Enterprises. In partnership with the Israeli military's technology and maintenance corps, Zoko Enterprises rebuilt these machines with vehicle-mounted weapons and armored drivers' cabins to use in the occupied Palestinian territory. The widely used Caterpillar D9R bulldozers weigh around 62 tons, are 4 meters tall and wide, and 8 meters long. So, Barclays divest from Israel Weapons Company, activists say. That was another one. So, all of this stuff might seem insignificant, inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. You might say, why the fuck am I doing this? Palestinians are still getting slaughtered. But ultimately, it works. Slowly but surely, this pressure campaign that worked against apartheid South Africa as well, in a very meaningful way, is working against Israel as well.